The Queen's Gambit. The crisp air of an early autumn afternoon carried the faint scent of fallen leaves as Alara stepped out of her father's sleek black car, the kind that turned heads even in a city as bustling as Sterling Heights. The school before her, Northwood High, was a monument to suburban normalcy. Alara, however, was anything but normal. This was her fifth school in as many years, and the routine was etched into her like a scar. New town, new school, stay invisible. Inside, the halls were a river of noise, lockers slamming, hurried footsteps, and the relentless chatter of teenagers. Alara moved through the current, a small island of calm in the chaos. Her goal was simple: get to her locker, find her classes, and identify the power players. She had a knack for it, a sixth sense for recognizing the kings and queens of the school hierarchy. And then she saw him. Liam Sterling, the star quarterback and undisputed ruler of Northwood High. He stood with his inner circle, his presence commanding a space that seemed to bend to his will. The way his friends laughed a little too loudly, the way they shifted their weight nervously when he spoke, Alara knew this pattern. She had seen it many times before. Liam was the golden boy, the untouchable jock with a wealthy family and a sense of entitlement that radiated off him like heat. Alara had no intention of crossing his path, but fate, as it often does, had other plans. As she passed his group, a foot jutted out, and her books went tumbling to the floor. A few students snickered. She bent to pick them up, ignoring the burning in her cheeks. Well, what we have here. Liam's voice was a low rumble, laced with a casual cruelty. Alara didn't look up. She gathered her books and rose, tried to walk away without a word. Hey, where's your manners? He called after her. She kept walking, but then she felt a sharp tug on her backpack, pulling her back. Alara stopped and slowly turned around. The hallway had gone silent. She met his gaze, and for the first time, she saw a flicker of surprise in his eyes. You shouldn't have done that, she said, her voice quiet but firm. Liam's smirk widened. And why is that? Because you have no idea who I am, she said. He laughed, a slow, mocking sound. I don't think I need to. Alara just held his gaze, her expression unreadable. She turned and walked away, leaving him standing there, a question mark hanging in the air. The rest of the day was a blur of avoiding eye contact and sitting alone at lunch, where she watched Liam and his court hold court from the center of the cafeteria. She felt his eyes on her more than once, but he didn't approach. Not yet. At the end of the day, as she walked toward the curb, a voice behind her cut through the afternoon air. Hey, new girl. Liam stood there, a challenge in his eyes. You got an attitude problem, you know that? What do you want, Liam? Alara asked, her voice flat. What, you think you're better than me? He asked, taking a step closer. Alara let out a short, amused laugh. I think you should walk away. His smirk faltered for a second. Oh yeah? And why? Because you have no idea who you're messing with, she whispered. She pulled out her phone and pressed a single button. A moment later, the deep rumble of an engine filled the street as a black Aston Martin Vantage pulled up. The tinted window rolled down, revealing her father, a man whose face was instantly recognizable from magazine covers and global business news. He was a titan of industry, a financial legend who could make or break companies with a single phone call. Liam's smirk vanished. For the first time, he looked genuinely small. Get in, kid, her father said, his voice calm and steady. Alara slid into the passenger seat, leaving a stunned and silent Liam in her wake. The car pulled away, leaving behind a school full of whispers and wide eyes. For a moment, neither of them spoke. That was a little dramatic, wasn't it? Alara said finally, a small laugh escaping her. Her father smirked. A little. But you're safe. That's all that matters. He's not done with me, Alara said, the amusement gone from her voice. Her father's expression turned serious. No, he's not. But you're not done with him, either. Alara nodded. I know. The next morning, the whispers were a deafening hum. Everyone was talking about the girl who got picked up by the enigmatic billionaire. The narrative had changed. Yesterday, she was just the quiet new girl. Today, she was a figure of intrigue and power. Liam and his friends were still there, but their dominance felt weaker. When Alara walked past, she felt their stares, but she didn't flinch. She gave them nothing. The taunts started small. A tripped foot in the hallway, a few muttered insults. Alara met each one with a calm indifference that seemed to infuriate Liam more than any angry outburst would have. "Still crying about your little locker?" he called out one day in the cafeteria, referring to the latest prank where they had trashed her locker. Alara took a slow bite of her sandwich. "It's funny," she said, her voice calm. "You keep trying to get a reaction out of me. It's almost like you need it to prove you exist." The cafeteria went silent. Liam's face reddened. He had always been the one in control, the one who made others feel small. But now, he was the one who was powerless. Alara knew he wouldn't stop. He would escalate. She was ready. A few days later, she walked into school to a buzzing crowd gathered around Liam's locker. A chill ran down her spine as she saw what was plastered all over it. Screenshots of his private messages, his vile comments about classmates and teachers, his racist and sexist jokes. Someone had exposed him. Liam shoved his way through the crowd, his face pale with rage. "What the hell is this?" he hissed, his hands trembling as he tore the papers down. He saw Alara across the hall, and his eyes narrowed. "You did this," he spat. Alara met his gaze, her expression unreadable. "Did I?" she asked simply. "You think you're so smart, huh?" he growled. "No," Alara said, her voice calm. "I just think you're exactly who you are, Liam. The only difference is, now everyone else sees it too." He stood there, his fists clenched, his kingdom crumbling around him. He had nowhere to go, nothing to say. He turned and stormed off, his humiliation a public spectacle. That afternoon, her father waited for her by the car. "It's done?" he asked. Alara nodded, a small smile on her face. "It's done. You didn't even have to throw a punch," he said, a note of pride in his voice. Alara shook her head. "I didn't need to. He did all the work for me." As they drove away from the school, Alara leaned back in her seat. The weight on her shoulders, the tension she had carried for so long, finally lifted. She had won, not by being louder or stronger, but by being smarter. She had let the truth do all the work. And for Liam Sterling, he was just a cautionary tale, a reminder that a throne built on fear is nothing more than a house of cards. And sometimes, the quietest ones are the ones you should fear the most.